Oh, that's a tree that's been blown down on the path. I don't know how long that's been blown down. It looks fresh to me, very fresh. It's a silver birch. I'd say it was the storm 2 days ago, Storm Agnes, which was our first named Irish storm, and it was kind of basically all Ireland that got hit with it. So yeah, I'd say that was Storm Agnes, and that's just been uprooted. I feel sorry for it. It's probably, but yeah, if it was a willow it would probably survive. A silver birch, I don't know. They'll probably have to come and saw it down at some point, or because brambles will climb over and block off the path. Well, that big bird there is a raven, and as you know, ravens are, well, they're very big. They're about twice the size of a rook, and they eat meat. They mostly scavenge for injured animals, but as you've seen in my previous video, an earlier video, that they're capable of killing or attempting to kill a large animal. They're very intelligent. We didn't have many ravens here for a long time. This one seems to be eating cones, or else it's just trying to clean its bill. I'm not sure which. They're unusual in that they have a... Oh, there's a big dragonfly flying in front of me here. Actually, that must be flying in front of the raven, because this is a very far zoom and there's no way it would appear on my camera otherwise. But you can see the huge bill. Most crows are not meat eaters, believe it or not. Ravens are big meat eaters, and they're big birds too, actually just a bit smaller than a buzzard, or well, actually a big raven would be as big as a big buzzard. I wouldn't like people to get the wrong idea after my video. Yeah, they clearly are able to be menacing creatures in their own way. They do it for food, of course. They're not monsters, but I guess that depends on where you are in relation to them. Now, I suspect that raven didn't really notice me much there. I didn't think much of me sitting here. I'd say occasionally people sit there. There are deer in the forest behind me, lots of them. But rooks now, I put meat out. Now, I don't get ravens, they don't come into the garden. They fly over it, but I've never seen them come in. And they perch on a church bell tower a few miles away from here, about a mile away from my house. And they tend to fly over, but they don't really come down. Now, rooks are everywhere. Rooks, farmers tend to shoot rooks and consider them pest species because rooks eat grain and eat other seeds. They also eat earthworms and things like that. But if you put meat out for a rook, although they will occasionally, if they're a bit desperate, they'll take it in winter, but most of the time they won't take meat. If you put meat out, if you put bread out, they'll take that. They love bread. But if you put meat out, they won't take it. And if you put seeds out, they'll take tons and tons of seeds. Bird seed, they'd eat all the bird seed if they could. And so will jackdaws. And they're insectivores as well. And rarely taking meat. Magpies will take meat, they scavenge all the time. And ravens and the grey crow. The grey crow is a variety of, like a subspecies of the carrion crow. They do seem to be speciating, that is, they're becoming two separate species, and they seem to regard each other almost as separate species. They don't tend to cross over much, and that's happened with other species. That seems to be how speciation works, and it seems to be almost responsible for racism in humans, that human beings see themselves as different to each other, and they won't intermingle or cohabit. And then sometimes you see it the other way around, where creatures which have been cut away from each other for long periods of time, come together and will breed and are able to successfully breed, because it turns out they're not as distantly related as we thought. And that goes with, say, the red deer and the sika deer, or the shika, because the sika deer is actually a red deer, although it has a different scientific name. It's basically just a red deer that got trapped on Japan and shrank a little bit, whereas the red deer in Asia, and the further west you go, Ireland, and then they get much bigger, but they are able to breed together successfully. So there you go. It's It's fascinating, but based on what those ravens were doing, that would be pretty rare, and we don't have many ravens around. They tend to be up in the mountains, and they prey mostly on red deer, or not red deer, well, sika in Wicklow, and injured sheep and things way off away from human habitation. You wouldn't see it very often, what was going on there. So, of course, jackdaws as well. But magpies have a reputation for trying the same tricks, but with smaller prey. And I've definitely seen magpies hunting, and you'll see it in my previous videos. Magpies hunting an injured rat, and they were going to finish it off. And magpies do kill. They'll kill other birds, small birds, chicks and things like that. So will ravens. Ravens are regarded by other birds, and including rooks. Rooks will attack ravens. They regard them as birds of prey and an enemy to be chased away. But ravens, of course, are much, much bigger, and they move in very small family groups, if they move in family groups at all. Usually about 4 to 6.